Yo guys, welcome to the last lap. Don't forget to drop a lovely, juicy 5-star rating if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
For Red Bull to sign De Vries, obviously you had that one amazing result that he had in the Williams, but that was a track that was so suited. You said this earlier, Ben, hindsight is a beautiful thing, but yeah, I said pre-season, I was like, Yuki's not going to get beaten by De Vries.
No.
I believe in Yuki. Like, he's got this raw pace.
Superiority.
This raw diamond is there.
He's got that dog in him.
And Yuki, I think he's done a job on him.
Dog,
Yeah, it's a small dog. It packs a punch. You know, Min's a small dog, but you know he bites hard. And you know, I just think that do we see, because Red Bull have been known to make these brutal changes mid-season, if we get halfway in, which they did with Gasly when they took Gasly out of the Red Bull and put Alex in. With Kvyat, it was 4 races when they took him out for Verstappen. I if things don't improve, I think he's definitely going to lose that seat.
It's in their
mid-season.
nature to do so. I mean, you know, like as you said, like Gasly and Albon, and it was kind of like the perfect storm almost. You know, with the F2 grid not being as strong as it is, that kind of elevated his status, and then obviously the Monza thing, you got basically flattered by Latifi, and then obviously the Williams being really strong in Monza in general. So it's difficult to say because the other thing is the age. Like he's been racing cars in general for a lot longer than the
He's
likes
3
of
years
Sargent
older than
and
Charles.
Piastri. Yeah, exactly. He's older than Max, right?
Yeah.
And so,
But who would... This is my things, right? So with Nick De Vries, like, I've got my own opinions with him. Then that's just through personal stuff with, like, when he was doing stuff at FE. I didn't really rate him then. He was consistent, which is good. But then and then, yes, he did win the Formula E Championship. But then he also did the following championship and he was shit in it.
It's 8th, I think, the year after.
Yeah. And that was against Stoffel Van Dorn, who was his teammate at the time.
Yeah.
bring back stuff, man.
Yeah. Actually, no, definitely not. No.
Shade.
Alex Jakes wouldn't agree with you on that one.
Yeah. Well, if he was good enough, he would still be there. So.
Mass.
Some plans.
Carry on. This is fun.
Basically, this is the thing, right? So we also got to remember, like,
I'm enjoying watching it.
Yeah. Why have I got the lose? Oh, I'm going to lose my F1 drive. I'm shit. I'm fine. Right?
That's a goal. True.
Like we're here to like not fall asleep. We're trying to like make good opinions with it. And I think the main thing with this is it's like Red Bull don't have the same ownership over AlphaTauri anymore. Like they don't. Otherwise, because before it used to be Red Bull, Toro Rosso, proper like linking ships there, and they do have some form of brother sister kind of connection. But I don't think what it was compared to back when it was Kvyat and when it was Max Verstappen first starting.
When Verstappen and Sainz.
When they definitely had more connection there.
Why not?
Well, you can just see it because it's all they have some linking branding and stuff. I just don't think who have you got them waiting.
Red Bull own that team.
Yeah, no, I know, but we haven't seen that fully come into effect of moving the drivers around and shaping it up because that's what they would happen like back when it was Kvyat and what have you. And also, who would be the one to replace that? And I know we mentioned during the live stream we did earlier that there was potential for Daniel Ricciardo there, but again. I don't understand why that would be done midway through this season, especially when it's Nick De Vries' first time with the team. I don't think that's fair. Really, that fair.
The one thing I will say is, whilst Red Bull probably don't have that same control over AlphaTauri as they did, say, like 5-10 years ago, they do still definitely have some. They slap Yuki Tsunoda in there.
Yeah.
But they own the team.
They do own the team.
So they have full control.
If they had full control, I don't think Nick De Vries would be in the car. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but there's bare Red Bull juniors that they could have, and that's that. But that is also,
I think it was
a limiting factor. I think for Nick because he doesn't have any sort of connection. He's not gonna go anywhere after AlphaTauri, and they've got Liam Lawson, someone like that who's just sat there doing Super Formula. Could go, yeah, all right, Liam. Now's your time, bro. We don't really care about Super Formula, to be honest, boss. So boom, in you go.
Yeah.
That is the one thing that I would be concerned for Nick.
Yeah.
It is his debut season. I would be surprised if he got done out halfway through it.
I think
if he keeps finishing 18th, they might as well take a punt on someone that's actually Red Bull Junior.
Yeah.
That's not even doing F2, and you're not even going to hurt their F2 championship like Iwasa.
Yeah.
So,
do you think you'd if you were to apply that then to like Logan Sargent, who has also been making mistakes as well with Williams, do you think Williams would do something like that at all?
but I think his
they
pace
don't
has
have
been a lot better. I think his pace
Logan's
compared-
21. Like it's his actual rookie season. Like he's just come out of F2.
He has made a lot of mistakes. To be fair, Logan, he's been there a few times.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I think honestly, his actual pace compared to Albon, again, he had problems today. His pace compared to Albon has genuinely not been like that catastrophic in comparison to De Vries.
No, he out-qualified Alex in Jeddah if it wasn't for crossing that white line. Like
he was up there in Baku too, up until obviously
absolutely
that knocked the wall.
Look, Nick out-qualified Yuki this weekend.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, it's not all been stinky. I just think like I don't understand. Like
he told us not to call him a rookie, so we can't even. He was like, I don't want to be treated as a rookie. So we can't even compare him really to Logan Sargent. We've got to compare him to other people that have been here for time.
Fair.
Because he's 28. Or is he 28?
Yeah, he's 28, yeah.
He's not finished.
I think especially with these like the younger guys, especially Sargent. I actually have a friend who's doing a placement year on at Williams, and he normally talks about as a performance engineer, and he talks about how Logan's like he's eager to do well, but he's almost like the way we're saying like with Charles, he's kind of like trying too much to prove himself. And I think that element is, especially in rookies, is quite prevalent, especially if you don't have as much experience. You don't have that foresight to think like, oh, I'd rather leave, this much on the table than and actually finish a lap. And it was weird how also, this is a side note, how the wheel, when you just tap the barrier in Baku, how it just like completely detached from the rim, which was like, I just thought it was kind of interesting. Same with Tsunoda. It happens like quite frequently. And Magnussen as well in Australia. It's becoming a recurring theme.
I don't know. I think if I'm in charge at Red Bull, well, look, my theory around De Vries in the first place was that the only way that made sense to me going for De Vries and not taking a punt on like a young Red Bull junior, which there have been a lot. There's not been a standout massive performer. I think Lawson was behind. No, just ahead of Sargent in F2 last year.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I think he got him right at the end by like a point or two. There wasn't this real big standout, like obvious. Right, this is the next young kid to go for. Maybe we'll see that this year. But the reason that De Vries, the only reason that made sense to me is that Red Bull were taking a punt on De Vries because they've got this vacant seat. Gasly's gone. And maybe this could be the next guy to, say Perez isn't doing well relative to Max, or say Perez is fighting too much. Maybe this could be the next guy to be a nice number two, comfortable number two. Because that's, if you're fighting for championships, you want a 1 and 2. You can't have 2 number 1 drivers. So having someone like, Nick's got a good relationship with Max, blah, blah, blah. From what we've seen in 5 races, he's not that guy. I don't know.
You're not that guy.
I've not seen like enough.
No, trust me, you're not that guy.
Maybe with a bit more time, he might be. But I think once we get to mid-season, if the trajectory starts to improve, cool. If it doesn't, then you've got Lawson. I think Lawson makes a lot of sense from Red Bull's point of view because this is a young driver. The young Kiwi's shown loads of potential. Did bits in DTM, beat Alex in DTM.
Very versatile, to be fair.
Well in F2, running well in Super Formula at the minute as well. That's like the next closest thing to F1. Ricciardo is an interesting one because I don't think Red Bull's set to gain. Red Bull maybe gain something from that because they see Ricciardo in a car racing, like relative to Tsunoda in a very scrappy midfield at the minute. And maybe that. I think from Daniel's point of view, if Daniel wants to guarantee a seat next year, I think getting a AlphaTauri seat for the second half of the season will help him. In my opinion, because if I'm like I don't know, if I'm a Lawrence Stroll, I don't know, and I look at Ricciardo, he likes high profile names. They don't come much more high profile than Ricciardo. I want to know I'm getting a Red Bull Renault Ricciardo, but there's always that. Oh, am I going to get the McLaren Ricciardo?
Yeah,
there is unfortunately now on Ricciardo's report card, he can't get rid of those 2 years, even though he got a win.
Yeah,
like overall those seasons were poor by his standards. So how does he guarantee himself a good seat?
Yeah, and I think that really just depends on how Red Bull season's going to go. Like obviously there's a whole conspiracy that potentially if Perez is still not chummy with Verstappen, he's going to cause him more grief with the championship battle. Like potentially, crystal ball looking at it, maybe he could be take over from Perez kind of thing. Which obviously in my eyes, I would love that. But it's like it's all about like what Ricardo's basically wanted to do as well. Like he's obviously any team that he goes to now, it's not going to be on financial benefits, so he's going to have to probably have a massive reduction in what his original race fee was going to be, because he obviously can't ask for the same amount.
Can't merit that wage anymore.
And obviously Red Bull currently developing him a lot to get back to his original driving style, which he's kind of had train out from McLaren from having those struggles. But then if he was then going to go to somewhere like AlphaTauri, for example, which is not UK based, and it's a different team, different setup, entirely to Red Bull.
But he did used to be at Toro Rosso.
Yeah, but quite a few years ago now.
Well, that's where it started from.
True.
I don't know.
Actually, mate.
Yeah.
I could.
Bring that
Oh
back.
yeah, true.
Yeah, you're right.
It was
actually,
online.
Yeah.
Knowledge, Niran. It's not just a pretty face.
Wheel knowledge. They're in there somewhere.
Also, Ben, while we got you on, we talked about this a bit on the live stream, but I know you're a big Charles Leclerc fan because he retweeted you.
Yeah.
Which is a good reason.
How could I not?
Is your in your bio?
Yeah, it was the so like I put like a little trailer at the start, and then he somehow saw it and he just shared it, and then again I on the day when I actually uploaded, he shared the link, and then I put the link in the tweet, and then I think he probably remembered, but I feel like it wasn't him. I still have like the suspicion that someone else was running his account.
No,
it was him. It was
definitely
saw that.
We can confirm. Obviously, Charles didn't have a great time on Friday or Saturday.
Yeah.
And in the race, I mean, he was, where was he in the end?
P7? Did he finish 7th? Or did he finish
between
6th?
Sainz and Hamilton?
Behind Lewis.
Yeah, he finished behind Lewis.
Yeah.
Got overtaken.
P6.
didn't he?
Yeah.
P7.
I think that's 7.
Yeah,
I think that's
seven,
7.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, maths is hard.